if I want to simplify this, worst case scenario, expanding is a method that takes a while, but usually you get to the right answer because the pieces are straightforward. So I'm going to go ahead and begin by expanding before I use the rules. If I have this fraction to the fourth power, then it means I have this fraction times itself 4 separate times. And then if I continue to expand in the numerator there, b to the fourth means b times b times b times b. And in the denominator, that's -2 times a times a times a. Okay, so if I expanded that out, sometimes even just visualizing it instead of writing it is enough. Now this fraction became this, so I'm going to write that 4 separate times. Now when you multiply fractions, you just multiply straight across. So to find my final answer, if I multiply straight across, I'm multiplying everything in these numerators together. So I have 4, 8, 12, 16, b to the 16th power. And then -2 times -2 times -2 times -2 is positive 16, because if you have an even amount of negatives, you know that your answer is positive. And then after I have the 16, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I have a to the 12th power. Okay, now I can use a shortcut where again we do power to a power, multiply. And so to use that shortcut, I needed to emphasize that the exponent on 2 is 1. But the danger in this one is your final answer, the sign of your final answer. If you make a decision as your, like the very first thought is my final answer going to be positive or negative, then applying the shortcut's going to go just fine. This right here, I only have a single negative, and it's raised to the 4th power. I know that a negative times a negative times a negative times a negative, if I have an even amount of negatives, my final answer is going to be positive. Okay, so then I'm going to do power to a power multiply. So 4 to the 4th, so that'll be 4 times 4. The -2 to the 1st power, the reason it's tricky is you need to remember to put that -2 in parentheses to the power of 1 times 4. And then 3 times 4 here. Okay, so then I end up with b to the 16th, -2 times -2 times -2 times -2 is 16, and then 3 times 4, so a to the 12th. So just make sure that you remember there's an exponent when you don't see one, power to a power multiply, and if there's an even exponent on a negative number, you're wanting a positive answer, and if you have a negative, or if you have an odd exponent on a negative number, your final answer will be negative. When it comes to fractions, that negative on a fraction, it can go at the top, the bottom, or out to the side. All of it's the same.